The objectives today are to conduct a successful interview, to understand the dynamics of a successful interview or talk show, to prepare questions to ask during the interview program, and to present a positive, confident image on camera. And it's a 5 to 7 minute speech.
Welcome to the Craig Gorman Show, where we help make your dreams come true. You know, today we're honored to have Rick Locke with us, the founder of Onessa Wealth Management. Onessa is a registered investment advisor firm located here in Silicon Valley. Rick, thanks for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You know, Rick, I've been told that you're a recovering software engineer. What exactly does that mean?
Well, thank you, Craig. I programmed computers for many, many years, which doesn't exactly fit my personality. I'm not one of the stereotypical software engineers where you throw them in a dark room and throw them some pizza and some Jolt Cola and they bang out code. I actually had more of a personality than that. And so at some point I realized that it was time to transition out of the programming world, and I looked around and thought, well, if I could just retool and retrain myself, I could transition out of that industry. So I looked and found that if I were to learn maybe a sales skill set, something a little bit more outgoing, that would be a great benefit. And frankly, with a sales skill set, you could work anywhere in the world, and that would be really pretty handy. So I transitioned out of software engineering into solving financial puzzles with people instead.
Hey, that's a great move, and I'm glad that you've done that, because you've helped me myself with that as well. You know, Rick, what do you think your clients say would be your most favorite clients would say about you? I mean, what comes to mind when you think about your most favorite client?
Well, I've got several clients that I really enjoy working with, and the thing that resonates so well for me, if I were to put it into one word, it's love. Those meetings with those clients, they start with a hug and we end with a hug. It doesn't get any better than that.
You know, I think that's why we get along so well, because that's actually the same thing that I do. You know, Rick, would you share with the audience an example of how you've made a difference in one of your clients' lives?
That's a good question, Craig. We're working with a gal just yesterday. She previously, like most of my clients, they've formerly had a different advisor that they worked with. And this gal...
She got smart and came to you.
Yes, she had attended one of our educational seminars, and she came in for a review. And one of the things that I like to do is when people have this product, it's called a variable annuity. It's got some guarantees, but the reality is your principal is always going to be at risk inside of one of these products. Well, what I like to do is put those variable annuity companies on the phone and let them explain to the client what this product is and how it works. And she actually had 4 variable annuity contracts with 3 different companies. And usually the point is to kind of expose some things that they didn't know about it. And tragically, we exposed the first company she had 2 contracts with, put that company on the phone, and she had been told that this was a lifetime product, that she'd have income for the rest of her life. The first one was going to run out in 15.5 years, and the second one was going to run out in 15.4 years. She was a little surprised. My heart fell. Then we put the third company on the phone, and the third company, fabulous product. It is actually going to provide lifetime income. Oops, you started when you were 64, not 65. It's going to run out in 20 years. So she had another 15 years on that product.
Well, you know,
that was a heart stopper.
Yeah, you know it is, because there's nothing worse than having your product run out before your actual life runs out.
Well, and she would have been tootling along, and she would have been right around 80 at that point, 85, and she would have been out of money, and she would have been caught completely off guard.
That's probably why we see 80-year-olds at Walmart near the front door.
I used to joke in my seminars, Craig, repeat after me or practice this a little bit. Would you like fries with that?
Yeah. Well, we hope that she doesn't run into that situation.
Yes.
You know, another question that comes to mind, you know, it seems that most people are not comfortable talking about their money situations. Mm-hmm. You know, being in real estate, I run into that a lot.
Yeah.
Would you agree? Do you run into the same situation, and what do you do about it?
Absolutely. The way I was brought up, I was lucky to know that my parents had a checkbook, let alone what was inside of it or how it worked. And so being able to structure a conversation with people in such a way, Craig, that they feel comfortable talking about their finances is quite an art. There's no science to it. It is all about creating a level of safety, trust, respect, understanding, and love, such that they know that I'm not here to judge and evaluate how they got to where they're at.
Definitely.
Our role, same with you, the role is, okay, here's where you are, that's where you'd like to be, what can we do to close that gap?
That's fantastic. You know, it's a shame that there's not more people like you looking at it that way. You know, Rick, briefly, what would you say is the main reason why people would want to choose you versus, say, anybody else?
Other than being tall and handsome?
You know, that's always a good reason. I mean, that's how I get most of my clients, but anything else other than that?
Well, there's a level of frankness that I'm able to achieve. I've got another gal that I'm working with, and her advisor had set her up in such a way that she was taking a early distribution from her retirement account without paying a penalty. Hats off to the advisor for knowing that much. However, the advisor didn't have the skill set to tell her, well, you should start picking your park bench, because I've actually set you on a course for catastrophe. And so having a skill set that allows me to be frank with people is something that I don't really see much of in this industry. There's a lot of yes people and a lot of people chasing commissions.
You know, it's unfortunate that we see a lot in our industry the same way. So it's good to see that there's someone like yourself that has more integrity than the others to go above that. You know, Rick, you know, planning for our future is something that's really a great thing to do, and unfortunately most of our audience probably hasn't done that. So let me ask you this, if there was one thing that the audience can take away today, what would be the most important point that they'd want to take home today?
The most important point. You have to make a plan. If you don't have a plan, the other way of saying that is a failure to plan is a plan to fail.
Yeah, I guess it's almost like trying to go on a trip across country and saying, oh shoot, I forgot to take the map.
Well, maps, what are those?
Yeah, you know, maps are like future. So folks, listen to what Rick has to say today and take that home. Rick, thank you very much for being with us today.
Excellent. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you.